guys, go to hardafseltzer.com. Get some 8% seltzer shipped right to your house. We got the peach, we got the watermelon, we got the pina colada, and the blue raspberry. We are currently live in over 300 stores in Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, the Outer Banks in North Carolina. And if you're heading out to the Major League ballparks this summer, make sure to check us out in the Miami Marlins Stadium, as well as Tropicana Field, home to the Tampa Bay Rays, as well as the Tampa Bay Rowdies. We are live inside all three stadiums. So if you're down in Florida this year, check us out. Go to hardafseltzer.com today and check your store locator or order them right to your house. Yeah, welcome to Drinkin' Bros Fake News, everybody. Bringing you the realest, fakest news of the week. This week, however, we got a special guest on the show. We've chatted about her a lot in the past here. She's a lightning rod in Congress. We got Marjorie Taylor Greene on the show. Marjorie, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. You and I were chatting right before the show started. I'm from Georgia. Obviously know your districts. Our high schools were pretty close to each other growing up there. It's hard for me to imagine that you came from such a small town and then rose to this crazy national prominence here.
Yeah, it's definitely been a wild ride. You know, for me, I became a member of Congress in January of 2021, and I never expected the national news media to do what they did to me. They basically created a character of me that doesn't exist and sold it all over the country 24/7. So it's been really, really interesting, but I just wrote a book about everything that's happened since then, and I'm very excited for it to come out.
You sure did. It's called MTG. It's available now. I'm looking at it here on Amazon, and you kind of go through your life and all of this stuff. Before we get into it, though, I do want to say congratulations on being correct on the Jewish space lasers. I did not think that was a real thing. I actually had to walk that back about 6 months later on this show. It was real. Who knew?
Who knew? Well, I tried to tell people, although I never said the phrase Jewish space lasers. That was totally wild. And they used it on an attack on me, claiming I was anti-Semitic, and I'm not. But I wrote a chapter about that in my book as well, Jewish space lasers. It was shocking to me to find out my name was trending with such an interesting phrase one night, and it was absolute insanity.
I bet. I mean, look, when I saw it, everybody got a good chuckle out of it. Obviously, everybody's going with a catchy phrase or a tagline to get clicks or likes or whatever it is. And then, 6 months later, we find out, indeed, Israel does have lasers that could be shot down from space. And I was like, holy shit, MTG was correct.
Well, they call me a conspiracy theorist. And if you're a conspiracy theorist, guess what? Most of the time you're right, because most of our conspiracy theories have all turned out to be true.
Okay, so let's get into it. January 6th tapes just got released. Was January 6th itself a conspiracy by our own government?
That's something I think we need to investigate, and it's been a very serious issue for me. It's one of the first chapters in my book is January 6th. I had worked very hard leading up to that day, preparing to object to Joe Biden's Electoral College votes, because I had seen so much evidence and so many people had signed their name on affidavits saying that they had witnessed voter fraud. And I was completely shocked at the events that day. It was my third day in Congress. So I write about January 6th in detail. And I also write about the January 6th defendants, because I have been only one of only many Republicans that has actually been in the DC jail multiple times. My first time, though, was in November of 2021, and it's one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever seen, and it still haunts me to this day. These people have been persecuted, and their human rights have been violated, and I was there when they were being held 22, 23 hours a day in solitary confinement. And this is a very serious situation in America, that the Department of Justice can do this to Americans that walked in the Capitol, did not nothing wrong through open doors, and Capitol Police were showing them around. So now that 90 hours have been released of the 44,000 hours, I think it's extremely important. But to me, videotapes are not enough. I want accountability. And I've called for Speaker Johnson to start a January 6th select committee. We need to investigate the former January 6th committee, Nancy Pelosi, the FBI. We need to talk to the DC police. We need to talk to any law enforcement agents that were there that day, because it has been a complete lie about January 6th. It was not an insurrection. It was a setup.
Yeah, and we'll go back to Monday's show here. We played some of the footage. It's the first time that we're seeing it. And to me, a lot of it was shocking because much like the rest of America, we watched the primetime hearings with Kinzinger and Liz Cheney and those guys.
Yeah, I almost choked up when he started
real
crying,
emotional.
because we know Adam.
We sure do.
He's getting lettered. Well, I'm not going to get too fucked up because he's a politician on the show. But his wife is an Obama or a Hillary Clinton person, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she worked for was it HHS or something? I don't remember what it was. Excuse me. But yeah, when he started crying, it was like, man, you're gonna get me going.
We got all worked up.
It's like when you're at the Grand Canyon and you see it and you're like, oh man, that's pretty. And then you see your dad next to you, he starts crying, and you're like, fuck.
It's a beautiful sight. And we're saying this with complete sarcasm, by the way.
Fuck him.
Adam was on the show, and he actually stayed at my house a long time ago.
Wow.
Yeah. And
did you check to see if there was anything weird going on?
he left his suit coat, and I thought that was weird.
Boy.
Who leaves somebody's house without their sport coat?
He's a tiny little man.
He is. He's a tiny man, but at the time, he was super Trump. Everything was cool and everything was awesome. And then something switched, and it was about a year and a half later, and then he got out of it. Now, what I had said was it appeared as if he was auditioning for a job later. I know that they were redistricting where he was running and all that other stuff, so it seemed like he was jockeying for some sort of maybe speaker position on CNN or MSNBC or something like that. Sure enough, that's exactly what happened there. Did you ever get a chance to talk to those guys and say, hey, why did you edit a lot of this footage from January 6th and not show the stuff that we've been seeing online over the last 48 hours?
Well, that was all part of the setup, and that was the reason why they did it that way. They have to lie about President Trump and all of his supporters because the Democrats are the party of violence. And we saw that in 2020 with the Antifa BLM riots. And we're seeing it again now with the ceasefire now rallies and protests that are really honestly linked directly to terrorism, Hamas, Rashida Tlaib, and other members of Congress. And this is who the Democrat Party is. And it was hurting them very badly with the American people. And I believe that January 6th was a setup to hurt President Trump. They're trying to destroy his opportunity to win in 2024. We know it's not working because Americans are too smart and aren't buying their lies anymore. But you're right about Adam Kinzinger. He's definitely, I guess, shown his true colors and sold out on the January 6th committee. I believe he's a traitor, an absolute traitor, not only to Republicans, but to our country. And it's unfortunate because he served our country in the military. We have another Republican doing the same thing right now. That's Ken Buck from Colorado. He's currently auditioning for any CNN, MSNBC, whoever will hire him, since he's not running for Congress now, too.
Do you think these people know that CNN's not going to exist in 2 years? You know what I mean? It's like trying to get into the Prussian military or something.
Yeah, it's not going to be around for a while. I know CNN is for sale and all that stuff. As far as Trump goes, since you brought him up here, currently, I believe he's sitting at 57 points ahead of his next closest competitor coming up here for 2024. Primaries, I think, start in 2 months. I mean, Iowa caucus, I believe, is in February here, so that's coming up. Are you planning to do any rallies with President Trump, touring around the country with him by any chance?
Absolutely. I'll be campaigning with President Trump as much as my congressional schedule allows me to. I believe we have to do everything we can to get him back in the White House. Another thing about the Republican primary is I really find it's outrageous that these Republican presidential candidates are staying in the race and they're losing so badly. And here's the situation that bothers me about them. And I haven't really attacked them much because they are losing so badly and no one's going to vote for them. Everyone's going to make sure that we get President Trump easily across the line in the primary. But think about it. These are Republicans that are staying in the primary, and they're counting on the Democrats to put President Trump in jail. They're counting on the Democrats to win these god-awful lawsuits and court cases where they're trying to take his name off the ballot. So any Republican running for president that is trying to become president, counting on the Democrats to take out the leading primary opponent, the one that's winning, these are the exact people that we should never, ever elect to hold office again. Because look at them. They're truly traitors to Republicans, or traitors to America, because they're counting on the weaponized government in order to be able to have a chance at winning the office of the presidency.
Well, this is kind of an unprecedented situation. Now, when's the last time we had a guy who was in office at one point, missed a term, and then came back? I don't think that's fair to say that he's the on paper, the polling shows he's the presumptive nominee. Mm-hmm. But if he hadn't been president before, and he was still winning by 57 points, there would still be Republican debates, would there not?
Well, there probably would be debates, but my point is these are Republican presidential primary candidates that are counting on the Democrats to knock out the leading presidential Republican.
What makes you say that, though? Did they say that, or is that just like you think that's what it is? Because this happens during the primary season all the time, where people will stay in the race longer than they probably should just to try to secure some kind of cabinet position or whatever else, right? I think that's probably why Vivek Ramaswamy's still in, frankly, because he knows he's not going to win.
Well, I think the polling numbers speak for themselves, and President Trump is winning so big. These people are wasting donor dollars, and they're not going to have any position in President Trump's cabinet.
Well, and that's the one thing I do hate about all of this is the wasting of the money, right? With the Nikki Haley's and everybody else, you're just wasting millions and millions of dollars when, yes, you are not going to win. Hopefully they'll get out of the race early.
Well, no, she's she needs the money, right? From Lockheed and Boeing and Northrop Grumman and General Dynamics and Texas Instruments, right? She's a fucking war hawk. She wants war.
Yes.
You can see it on her face. She's basically like a soft right Hillary Clinton.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. She is, absolutely. And maybe she's auditioning for a position on one of the boards of those companies in the military industrial
100%.
complex.
She's Dick Cheney 2.0, right?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
I like the soft Hillary Clinton, though, a lot.
Soft right Hillary Clinton.
Soft right Hillary Clinton.
Instead of hard, everybody says hard or far right.
Sure.
Which is a meaningless phrase these days.
Just go soft.
Yeah.
Just go soft these days.
Yeah, because she's like, oh, these heels are fucking weapons or whatever. She said, shut the fuck up, dude. What does that even mean?
I don't know. That was an awful comment.
You got to comment on that? What the fuck did that mean?
Yeah. Do you watch
these
the
heels
debates?
are bullets,
or
man?
Or do you just check out of those altogether?
I think that was such a gross, feminist, pro-woman, strong woman comment. I think it was poor delivery. It didn't come off right. But I got to tell you, Nikki Haley makes me sick. We've had enough of this warmongering. I have voted to send no dollars to Ukraine, zero. And I was one of the only ones at the beginning. I think it was like me, Thomas Massey, and Matt Gaetz. We were pretty much the only ones that were like, nope, we're not doing the foreign wars. We're done with that. Our border's the most important border. And I think that's why Nikki Haley is so far down in the polls is it's because America is like, we're sick of this. We're really fed up with it. We need to be focusing on our border. And there's a situation that happened earlier today. We're waiting to find out the details where a car exploded entering in the United States from Canada. But I serve on the Homeland Security Committee, and we have had over 10 million people cross into our border since Biden became president. There are 1.8 million gotaways in our country. And we know for a fact, and we've been told that an unknown number of those gotaways are terrorists, and they're here in our country. So enough with Washington, absolutely obsessed with the foreign wars. We could have a war on our own land at any time in the future.
Sure, yeah. I mean, to your point, I'm on the board of a company called Save Our Allies. You may have heard of it. We evacuated people from all these war zones because the government's incompetent. We vet every single person that we bring here, right? Exhaustively. My understanding is 60 to 70% of the people that the U.S. government brought from Afghanistan specifically into the United States weren't vetted at all. And we've got footage of people at the D.C. Convention Center just getting picked up by fucking Ubers and shit and driving home without any, like, it's just like a random Afghan dude in his 40s. Like, all right, that's probably good. But what about other foreign wars? What about Israel, right? Why should we be sending money there?
Well, there was only 2 Republicans that voted no to the $14 billion to go to Israel, and I was one of them.
Was the other one Massey? I would assume it's Massey, right?
Yeah. Thomas Massey. Now, I had to explain my position there, and I'll just do it briefly. Sure. But I do support Israel. I think they're totally different than Ukraine. You can't even compare the two. Israel is a strong, independent nation. They're a nuclear-armed nation. And they also manufacture some of the best weapons and ammunition in the world. We buy their weapons and ammunition. And I have voted in the past to fund their Iron Dome and other funding for their defense of their country. But I didn't want to send the $14 billion at this time, and I'll tell you why. The Biden administration wants to be engaged in that war. They want to tell Israel, their rules of how to conduct their war against Hamas. And I think Israel wants to do this on their own, and they're successful if they do it on their own. And the Biden administration has no business telling Israel how to attack terrorists that murdered innocent Israelis in such barbaric, horrific ways. And I got to tell you, though, even though the House passed the $14 billion, the Senate did not pass it, and none of that money has gone to Israel. And we've been watching, you can see it every day. Israel is doing a great job handling their business all on their own.
Yeah, I don't see their presidents doing too many late night talk shows or interrupting the Grammys or anything else, begging for America's money and or help in this one. I agree. The wars are totally different. Me personally, and Dan can speak more on this, having served overseas, I don't really want to be involved in either of those because it doesn't involve our country directly, especially financially, or sending troops over there in particular. I like that. I'm against that all the way around, unless we get attacked on American soil. By the way, just to back up what you said earlier about the explosion on the border, Laura Loomer, and take her for whatever she's worth, which is not a lot, said it was a Hamas attack. So that has not been confirmed by anybody else. I know that's going around Twitter right now.
I'm sure it's going around Twitter, but I know people that are on the ground up there, and what they have is a fucked up car and pieces of bodies.
Two dead bodies.
You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm sure it is. It probably is, right? But why? What do you got to be first? I've got inside information. Shut the fuck up, dude. Yeah. God damn it.
Actually, I serve on the Homeland Committee, and we've been talking about the situation. And the current information that's out right now is that has not been linked to Hamas. So Laura Loomer's jumping out ahead because she likes to have viral posts. She doesn't have any inside information. The car did explode, and the suitcase that they have looked at, there has not, at this time, it's not being reported to us on the Homeland Security Committee. There has not been any parts of a bomb found in that car. The car did rush the border at like 100 miles per hour and hit the entry there of the port of entry. But it's still under investigation, and it would be very irresponsible at this time to call it for Hamas, or even though we wouldn't be surprised, but it's completely irresponsible to be spreading that information right now.
I agree.
Yeah, but looking at, to your point about there being a suitcase and no clear evidence yet of a bomb specifically, I'm looking at photos that I was sent, and it was a bomb, right? There's no quite. It was a VB IED, a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device. So that part.
Well, it definitely may be, but I'm just giving you
that part.
I'm telling you what they told me.
Anybody,
For sure.
Yeah, that's right. And I think it's, people need to be responsible with their information and not be interested in just getting a bunch of retweets and posts. And that's the problem with the one you're talking about. She operates more like a, I guess, internet troll, and that's it.
Well, I mean, but that's like how, all things being equal, that's how the media would have handled this, right? If there was still any possibility of us getting into a ground war over there, that I feel like that phase is past at this point because, as she said, Israel's got it under control and everybody knows that. But if we were still in that middle period, right, where they were bombing and figuring out what they were going to do on the ground, there's no question in my mind that liberal rag papers and news channels would be trying to link this to Hamas just for the opportunity to go to war over there. It seems like the left is so bloodthirsty these days. It's incredible. None of them have ever served in any real fucking war, by the way.
Right. And Washington is bloodthirsty. But talking about Hamas, who we can link directly to Hamas, is someone I served with in Congress named Rashida Tlaib. This woman is directly linked in supporting them. She gave a speech on October 18th, blaming Israel for the bombing of the Gaza hospital, and launched 1,500 people of the Ceasefire Now group to descended on the Capitol complex. They came in the Cannon House building. That's my office building. And they occupied our building for hours, shutting down Congress, stopping committee hearings. It was exactly the same thing that people did on January 6th, and over 300 of them were arrested that day. Rashida Tlaib is completely coordinating with them. And my staff went around and took pictures of the people that were texting on their phones. And we got pictures of their cell phones, the screens of their cell phones. And the top of one of the cell phones was a big group chat, and it was called Global Intifada. And you're familiar with this, serving in the military. Intifada means Arab uprising. It means jihad. And that group, one of the names that was in the group was the lead attorney for the Southern Poverty Law Center, Katrina Bleakley. And I brought this information to a Homeland hearing when we had Christopher Wray sitting before us on the committee, and the hearing was about terrorism. He knew nothing about anything that I was talking about, didn't even care, didn't ask me for the information, didn't ask me for the evidence that I had. And that greatly concerns me. And it should concern all of us, especially knowing that we could have thousands of terrorists that came in our country among the 1.8 million gotaways. We have a member of Congress, Rashida Tlaib, just recently exposed for being in a Facebook group that is linked with Hamas, a private Facebook group. And then we have the FBI director that doesn't even care about the information that I brought forward about Global Intifada, an organized group.
So you've got a business degree, and I've got a math question. How many 9/11s or Pearl Harbors does one insurrection count as? Because, you know, Kamala Harris is on television talking about 9/11, Pearl Harbor, January 6th, but then there's been like 3 quote unquote insurrections by leftists this year alone. So it's like, do you know, is there a math equation you guys use on the Homeland Security Committee to determine how many of these, like a weighted scale or something?
It almost is going to be a Kamala scale where you're putting it in there of like, all right, we'll throw in 3 9/11s, 4 Pearl Harbors, and then maybe an Oklahoma City bombing. And that's what January 6th was. And then try to figure it out from there. Speaking of Rashida Tlaib, you recently moved to have her censured, which ultimately ended up happening there. Were you on the Congress floor when she gave her speech and got all teared up and everything and had to be consoled there? Was that part of it? Because I only saw that one single camera on them. I didn't see who else was to the right or left.
Yeah, that was part of it. And that was during the debate on the censure resolution. That censure resolution, even though I voted for it, I thought it was quite weak. It didn't require her to come down to the well and be censured, which is part of the point of censuring someone, is to basically shame them for what they've done. And I was disappointed in that version of it. Mine was a lot stronger. It talked about October 18th, totally laid the responsibility squarely on her. Because here's my problem. I wrote this in my book, MTG. Oftentimes, I get just as mad at Republicans as I do Democrats, because Republicans never hold the Democrats accountable, and they never make the Democrats play by their own rules. And that was the perfect opportunity to make Rashida Tlaib accountable in the exact same way the Democrats try to hold us accountable for things. And she is accountable for it. It is her responsibility, and she is completely tied in with those groups, and it's provable. But yeah, we did end up censuring her. She is such an actress. I also served with her on the oversight committee. That woman can turn on tears quicker than anything you've ever seen in your life. And it's outrageous. It's really pathetic and outrageous.
Yeah, so you say you don't like Republicans who don't take it to the Democrats the way it happens in the inverse. How do you feel about Johnson and et al. Not bringing impeachment charges against Biden? They say they don't have enough evidence yet. That's a fucking ludicrous thing to say. There's plenty of evidence.
It is. There's so much evidence. I introduced articles of impeachment on Joe Biden on his first day in office back in January of 2021. Ironically, it was 2 weeks later that Nancy Pelosi kicked me off my committees. I don't think they liked those articles of impeachment very much on their brand new president, even though we all knew he was guilty. We all knew before he became president because of the Hunter Biden laptop and all the information. But serving on the Oversight Committee, being involved deeply in the impeachment inquiry, I can tell you we have mountains of evidence. We have so much evidence that I think it's absurd that we have not impeached him yet. It's an absolute failure. And, Speaker Johnson is brand new in his speakership. The honeymoon period is just worn off. I was disappointed that he passed the continuing resolution. I voted against it. I voted against the other ones under Kevin McCarthy, and I voted against this one because we should not be continuing Joe Biden's budget, the budget that Nancy Pelosi created that has open border policies, the woke trans agenda in the military, and is funding the weaponized Department of Justice that's hunting people down in their homes constantly. And I was really disappointed he did that. And now my understanding, though, on impeachment is he is supporting our inquiry, and he is supporting if we have the evidence to impeach. I'll tell you, we have the evidence. Here's what we're lacking. We're lacking enough Republicans that will vote for it right now. I know that sounds so pathetic, but we only have a 3-seat majority. So it's very difficult if we lose any votes, any Republicans, then we're not able to pass it. So we need stronger Republicans, and we need them to get their act together and impeach Biden.
So is this going to be a big campaign message then for the 24 election? You know what I mean? Because I think, if people look around the country, we have the opportunity to get rid of Biden, which I think is a good idea because of all of those reasons, right? Like 10 million illegal immigrants in our country and so on and so forth. The Afghanistan withdrawal, inflation
at record highs.
I mean, it's so much stuff. But it isn't just about the president. I think this is a problem that we've had on the conservative side of politics for a very long time, and is down ballot voting, right? Not just in Congress, but also at local votes, judges, DAs, and shit like that George Soros has been involved in. Who's leading the messaging? The RNC is not very good at this stuff. Who's leading the messaging? Like, hey, it isn't enough to get Joe Biden out of the way. You have to get Republicans who are actually going to stand the fuck up for conservatism, right? Well, so who's doing that?
But the problem is the head of the RNC is Mitt Romney's daughter. You got to get her out of there first. And, back to what Vivek said at the top of that last debate is he said the Republican Party has become a party of losers. To your exact statement, they can't get it together as a whole. Like, you guys can't agree on everything, and it seems to be splintered in half. How do we correct that going into 2024?
Well, I tell you what, that's where I'm depending on all of you voters. I would give anything if you would send me stronger Republicans that are willing to impeach bad people because they deserve it, that are willing to take the hard votes and censure Rashida Tlaib and others the way they should be censured, and are willing to pass strong bills that really cut spending and get rid of these horrific policies. I mean, we should be gutting agencies. We should be shutting down agencies from this overbloated government. But that's where I have to depend on the voters. You guys are the ones that are able to make the changes. I can't do that. And I really hope that you're able, our voters are able to do that. But unfortunately, guys, my time is up.
I know. We only got you for a half hour today.
Yeah.
The book is called MTG. It is out everywhere now. It's available right on Amazon. You can get it tomorrow if you want it over there. Real quick, before you get out of here, two just quick things. Lauren Boebert, you called her a little bitch on the floor. Were you guys able to patch things up?
That was in a private conversation. It was to her face when no one was listening. And I tell this story in the book. And unfortunately, she ran immediately to the press and told them what I said when that conversation should have never gone anywhere. I'll let people. Sorry, they keep breaking
I get it
for the next one. But I'll let people read it in the book, MTG. You can get it on Amazon or mtgbook.com. Thank you so much, you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Look, she was great. I was not expecting that whatsoever. Look, we've chatted about her on the show for the last few years. I always thought she was kind of crazy, and she was actually fairly sensible, I think. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, if we had more time, I could bring that crazy out. Right?
Well, at the top of the show, I at least admitted the space lasers, the Jewish space lasers, were real, and she got that correct, and that was nice. But
no, I don't think anybody questions whether space lasers are real. Those have existed since the 1980s, since the Star Wars program.
I
right?
did.
You didn't think they were real?
I saw the movie Real Genius.
No. Yeah, well, okay, yeah, but that's a real thing.
I know, but I haven't seen it. I want to see it in real life.
No. The comment was that some Jewish organization was using those lasers to start forest fires in California, which is a different statement altogether.
It sure is. Sure is. But no, to be fair, look. You see these statements and clips and all that other shit. This is the first time I've ever seen her in a full sit-down conversation like this for 30 minutes. By the way, for the audience at home, she is promoting the book, so we knew we only got a half hour's worth of time here today. So that's why she had to jump. That's what happens in these big press events, especially with fancy celebrities and whatnot, and especially politicians. They're on it, dude. It's second to second. They're in and out, dude.
Well, if you're going to be on something, you should be on a ghost bed, right?
Sure should. From ghostbed.com/Drinkin, bros. 50% off everything in the entire store. That's mattresses, pillows, sheets, adjustable bases, you name it. Everything is 50% off for the holidays. Kids, if you're like me and you and your wife or your husband, we don't kink shame on this show. You go get one big ticket item there for Christmas. Getting a brand new bedroom set is a great idea. Nothing better than a good night's sleep. Right now, when you use the promo code Drinkin' Bros, you're going to get 50% off. And when you check out, you're going to see a 3-year pay-as-you-go program. No interest as long as you have decent credit over there. And guess what, kids? That 50% off can be stretched out over 3 years. You can kind of forget about it, dude. That's nice. Go to ghostbed.com/Drinkin' Bros today. Let's get to the news, shall we? Terrorist attack at the northern border, which we talked about here with MTG at the MGT at the top.
MGT is something that
something totally different.
Jared and I came up with is median giant temperature.
Correct, yeah. And which is I was thinking of Magic the Gathering for MTG.
Well, that could be that as well.
Could be.
But it's also her name. But MGT is mean giant temp, which is the ambient temperature, mean temperature, like the average temperature of a vagina.
Of a vagina.
MGT, right?
Sure.
So it's a standard, and you fucking hit it with the little laser to tell how hot it is, and you're like, oh, your MGT is plus minus whatever, right?
Which I like a lot. But as far as the terrorist attack goes here, the attempted terror attack was at the Rainbow Bridge in Niagara Falls. The falls didn't blow up, right? We're still got water there. Delco, what do you think? What? Still got water at Niagara Falls there, up at the Rainbow Bridge? Okay. I don't want to lose Niagara Falls is all I'm saying.
No, it's
big
gone.
Fan.
No, you can see there's some wreckage. You can find the pictures on the internet. There's no point in showing it here, but yeah, an attempted terror attack.
Fox News, yeah.
Vehicle with 2 drivers skirted through, as you heard Representative Greene say, tried to skirt through a checkpoint. I don't know if they hit a post because there's metal poles that are 15 feet down on the ground that'll pop up to stop them going through. I don't know if they hit that and then detonated. I don't know what happened, right? We don't know what happened yet. Fire will get in there and figure out what happened, but remains unclear if anyone aside from those 2 in the car were injured yet. We don't have any reports on that, but it doesn't look like it so far. I haven't heard any injury reports, which is good.
So what I had heard briefly was that there was one border patrol agent that was injured, and then the 2 terrorists were dead in the vehicle.
They're definitely dead.
There's no duct tape or anything that's going to bring those guys back?
I don't think so, but do you think they attacked it because it was called Rainbow Bridge?
Oh, boy. You think it's a hate crime now?
Could be.
Yeah, could be.
Oh, wait.
Don't want to rule it out.
I think I might actually have video of it. Yeah.
Do you really?
I want my CBP guy to send me video of this.
I see photos. I can look it up.
Who can I send this to?
Ross's iMac.
Yeah, send it to Ross's iMac. Joel, you want to hop in there?
I got it.
And help out just in case? over there. I like how Joel's got the beanie on inside. That's nice. The beauty of doing the show with you is we get all the cool shit before everybody else does.
Yeah, he just sent me this.
Yeah, so we're able to see it here. Based on what you've seen here, any guesses?
Well, put it up on there. We'll watch.
All right, here we go.
I saw it on a small screen. Let's look at that.
There we go.
So it's going to come in from the right, that guard station right there on the right.
Okay.
Boom.
Oh, shit.
So, I mean, that's a relatively small explosion. Play it again. What you don't see are major concussive waves. Like if it was a 155 round or a bunch of Semtex or something in the trunk of that car and it blew up, the windows in those cars over there would have got blown out probably, or you would at least see reverberations going through that. So it may just be some dumb asshole full up on gas, to be honest.
Gotcha. So those cars on the left.
Yeah, but it was definitely somebody trying to get in through the border. So that I don't know. Probably too early to call it a terrorist attack based on this video. Frankly.
Okay. Because some other reports, and again, these
look how much fire there isn't.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, so some other reports which aren't confirmed say there was a ton of explosives still found in the vehicle, but they were undetonated. So
maybe they wired it up wrong. That's another possibility.
Well, look, terrorism ain't easy.
No, I mean, so what they should do is join a union, right?
Yeah.
And become an apprentice. And then journeyman before you start trying to do the real work is all I'm saying, right?
I agree.
Maybe it's like a Four Lions situation. You ever see that movie? Where they're just trying to go jihad and become terrorists and they just like fail miserably.
Yeah, look, it's possible there. One of the stories, I was told in Matt's book. One of the stories told in that book was the guy who put the suicide vest on inside out.
Oh, yeah.
And fucking clacked off and
just imploded
blew back.
himself. Yeah. Fucking idiot.
Oh, fuck. But still too early to tell here.
Here's what the CBP is saying. Appears to be an intentional explosion. Car released from primary with 2 passengers pulled to choke booth, which is, there's a serpentine, right? It's called a choke point. Choke booth. There's a booth right there in front of it so you can search the car and shit. Pulled to choke booth, stopped, and then detonated. So Elon G in the chat said just a second ago, if you want to play that video again, throw it up there. He said if you notice right at the beginning of the video, there's a little bit of a vibration on the camera before you see the actual explosion. That is a sign that it was a detonation.
Okay.
That's a good point. So right there, see that?
Oh, got it. Yep.
But it was a weak one. So they probably fucked up. It's probably HME, like homemade explosives, and not good ones.
Yeah.
So, or they wired it wrong, or who the fuck knows, man.
Again, dude, terrorism ain't easy. Like, it looks fun and flirty when you see it online, and then when you actually got to do it.
And you know what the sad part is? The CIA has been training these people to conduct terrorist attacks since the 1970s, and they still can't get it fucking right. That's 50 goddamn years, man. It just shows you how incompetent the CIA is.
I know, it's a shame here. New York Governor Kathy Hochul said in a statement that state police are working with an FBI terrorism task force to investigate the incidents. And now all 4 land border crossings between U.S. and Canada have now been closed. Well, it's one part of the border that's closed, right?
The only part.
Southern part is still wide open.
Buffalo Airport has shut down all of their international flights.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's pretty standard.
All right. Well, I mean, Buffalo parties, dude. So I thought, hey, it's a fun, flirty start to the weekend for those guys.
Yeah, just come out and shovel some snow on it.
Shovel some snow, throw somebody through a table, blow up a bridge partially.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the guy had his suicide vest on, but he's a Bills fan, and he was rewatching the game for the other day.
Could be.
It had dead man switch on it. He falls down. Boom.
Yep.
Fuck, man. What a waste.
He's got Josh Allen in fantasy through too many interceptions. We're just like, dude, I'm out of here. Next up, we got the Georgia voting machines. U.S. District Judge Amy Tottenberg issued a 135-page ruling last Friday in the long-running lawsuits seeking to rid Georgia of its electronic voting machines in favor of hand-marked paper ballots. The lawsuit filed by individual voters and election security advocacy group, the Coalition for Good Governance. That almost sounds like a made-up phrase, doesn't it?
Yeah, does it?
Is that real? They argue that the machine's cybersecurity flaws violate the constitutional rights of voters to cast their votes and have those votes accurately counted. In a footnote on the ruling, Tottenberg said that the evidence in the case does not suggest
that the plaintiffs are conspiracy theorists of any variety. What do you think here?
I think that they've already admitted this week that there were 3,600 duplicate ballots, right? At a minimum. That's what they found so far during this. So whether or not there was quote unquote widespread voter fraud or enough to have swung the election or not, these lawsuits that Dominion Voting has against our buddy Joe Oltman, against Mike Lindell from MyPillow and so on and so forth, they're not going to win any of them. And to be honest, this might call into question the ruling made against Fox News, right? Even though it was one company paying itself, right?
Sure.
Which is kind of gay, but because there's clear evidence now from national cybersecurity experts that the Dominion voting machines have flaws that can be exploited. There's no question about that anymore, and that's exactly what this judge is saying right here.
Yeah, and
that doesn't mean, I know this is fucking pedantic, but that doesn't mean that something happened, but it does.
And here's the biggest problem with going up against Dominion. They have endless money to spend on lawyers, lawsuits. They can drag it out for years and years and years. I saw the MyPillow guy the other day on an interview saying that he's going broke trying to fight off these lawsuits. And
he's saying
else.
that because he wants you to buy more fucking slippers, dude. I'm going broke trying to fight these lawsuits. You got to buy $20 for slippers. No, he's not going broke.
I haven't seen the slippers. Are they $20? I'll take some Mike Lindell slippers.
I don't know how much they cost. The products are actually kind of good, to be honest.
I've never used them.
But he's so annoying, I can't fucking listen to him. Plus, we've got a fucking bed sponsor that's actually good. So I'm not buying pillows from him.
But I'll take the slippers. Ghost Bed doesn't make slippers.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'll put some slippies on.
MyPillow slippers.
Does he have his own face on them? I would want his face on them for sure.
They come in all sorts of designs, I think.
Okay. I want two Mike Lindell heads on there.
I want some to troll him. I want like a hammer and sickle on the toe.
Oh, that'd be
You know
nice.
what I mean? Like a commie.
Yeah.
Mike Lindell slipper. Like, hey, I got these slippers in the mail and it's got a fucking hammer and sickle on it, Mike.
I got a little commie on here. How about that?
Remember those Overland slippers we used to have? Mm-hmm. On the show like 3 years ago? They look exactly like that.
Yeah.
It's identical. And they are
what are we talking here?
for the moccasins, we're looking at $50.
Shit.
For the slip-on slippers, the nice ones that are like the ones
you get in a hotel room?
no, like the ones that were. This is how you know this dude's a huckster, by the way. The list price is $140 and the actual price is $50. I'm cutting you a deal, man.
Perfect.
Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. What a clown.
He's giving you $90 off, dude. Give him a break. Give him a break.
We're going to give you, so on Patreon, we charge, what, $10 for video? Mm-hmm. The actual value is $55,000 per subscription for $10.
$10.
Right? So sign up today.
Yep. It's just, I know it says $55,000. What we're doing is we're taking $54,990 off and then giving that savings to you on our Drinkin' Bros podcast Patreon. You know, who is giving you a good savings, though, is the Montana Knife Company, our next sponsor. Right now, you can grab yourself a Blackfoot 2.0 Speed Goat or Stonewall Skinner. Let's go. Use that promo code DB10 for 10% off your first order on Montana Knife Company over there. We had Josh Smith on the show. Huge fan. Master bladesmith. Great dude, small business owner. And we were so impressed with his knives on the show. I think I even asked him just point blank on air. I was like, yo, is there any way we could work together? Gigantic fan. We just got the cooking knives at the house.
Yeah, I was planning on talking about those and promoting them today, but they're completely sold out already.
Gone. Gone, dude.
Yeah, I got mine today too. They're fucking dope.
They're dope.
It comes in a nice, it's a bison leather rolling pack, right? I mean, it's fucking nice.
Super nice. Yeah. And it was, look, we told you the other day, he makes limited edition stuff, and when it's gone, it's gone. So if you don't get to it in time, sorry about it. He'll bring it back.
Yeah, they're going to make more of these.
For sure.
They'll have them back. But
there's a ton of knives on there. He's been making knives for 30 years, all in the United States of America, obviously. Right in Montana, I think, is where they're in. Designed, tested, built by hunters. Montana Knife Company is a hunting knife company first and foremost. Sharpest knives out of the box and the easiest knives to sharpen. Montana Knife Company, young company, working hard to keep up with the demand, as we stated earlier. These Montana knives sell out within minutes of being released. So head on over to montanaknifecompany.com to see what's available now. For the first time ever, they got a bunch of other knives that are brand new to the store, and those are in stock right now. Great stocking stuffers for the holidays.
They are, yeah.
You can grab yourself a Blackfoot 2.0, Speed Goat, or Stonewall Skinner. Use the promo code Drinkin Bros or DB10 for 10% off your first order over there.
And
this
is how this company works. So you buy one of these knives or several of these knives or however many it is guaranteed for life. And that doesn't mean that if it breaks, you can send it and get a new one. It means if it gets dull, you can send it in, they'll sharpen it and mail it back to you, right? For the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Or the life of the item, actually. So you can pass it on to your kids and shit.
No, the rest of our entire lives.
But both.
Yeah.
Because your kids will probably outlive you.
I want to outlive Josh and then
we can
have his kids sharpen my knives for me.
We can just knife him up.
That's what I'm saying.
With his own knife?
With his own.
Like, oh, thanks, Josh. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And just give him one of the
kill him.
Yeah.
But then I also want his kids to grow up and be able to sharpen my own knives. And then I'm going to give the knives to my children, and then boom.
Yeah, but do his kid then kill your kids, right?
Oh, that's the risk you run. But I think that's the fun game that we'll play together.
Yeah.
Because I really want those knives sharpened for the rest of my life here. Next up, ivermectin and hydrochloroquine.
Hydroxychloroquine.
Is that what it is? Good for you. Look at you today. Pronouncing
It's not
shit.
today.
It is. I don't think I've ever mispronounced anything on the show in my entire life. No. What have we done? Close to 2,000 episodes here, something like that?
Who could say?
Who could say? First time I've ever missed right there. You know, it's not like I missed on MTG earlier. Oh, remember horse paste? That's what it was. Well, it turns out it's not only an effective treatment for COVID SARS. Look, the U.S. government knew it was based on previous DARPA research. Is this true?
Yeah, it's true. So a DOD document has finally been not released, but gotten through a FOIA request. And here's what the document says. The EcoHealth Alliance response to Preempt BAA is placed along with other proposal documents in Preempt folder on the DARPA Biological Technologies Office, JWICS, which is Joint Worldwide Intelligence Communication System, which is basically like there's NIPR, NIPR, which is like the open communication system for the military. Then there's SIPR, which is the secret one, right? Mm-hmm. It's non-classified, then secret, and then JWICS is for TSSCI, compartmentalized, the most sensitive data that we have. So it is this document came from a share drive from DARPA on one of the most sensitive drives that exists in the world. And it says this: ivermectin, identified as a curative in April 2020, works throughout all phases of illness because it both inhibits viral replication and modulates the immune responses. Of note, chloroquine phosphate, hydroxychloroquine, identified April 2020 as a curative, is identified as well, is identified in the proposal as a SARS-CoV inhibitor, as is interferon, which is identified as a curative in May 2020, which means by May of 2020, there were 3 separate drugs already on the market, already safe for human consumption that would treat COVID. Mm-hmm. 3. And they were not allowed to prescribe any of them until a vaccine came out.
Well, I think looking back at all this stuff, it was always about the money in big pharma, right?
Sure, yeah, but you like let a bunch of people die so you can make money.
It almost seems like it was intentional and like, hey, I mean, again, I said this in the past and I'll say it again. The group that it was targeting, old people, obese people, people with pre-existing medical conditions, those people can't work typically.
Well, Delco, can you pull up the video here? Because there's a doctor, Chris Shoemaker from Canada. He's an emergency medicine doctor in Canada. He runs through this pretty succinctly.
There we go. Look at him just chilling, dude.
North American science spent 15 years figuring out what to do with the next COVID. It was back 2002, 2003, the original SARS-CoV-1 occurred. And so all sorts of experiments went on to determine what would be a useful response were something similar to occur. And the research was done. Research was all done by 2015, 2016. And DARPA, D-A-R-P-A, the American research arm of the U.S. military, it specifically knew and specifically recommended and passed the information on to the CDC that Ivermectin, in particular, was the absolute #1 product to be used in the event of a coronavirus pandemic. It was fully known that ivermectin, and certainly hydroxychloroquine as well, were highly antiviral and immune modulatory. And those two things were the key, to modulate the immune response, plus to be antiviral as well. Those elements were both totally proven in vitro and in vivo with animals, so that it was known, and of course we knew it was completely safe for humans because these medications have been used for 35 to 40 years in humans. And so that's what was sitting there ready to be used at the next pandemic.
It's hard to know what the biggest scandal of the last couple of years is.
There's so many.
Right? Like this is a big one.
J6.
J6 is a big one. The fucking Trump stuff, all of it, from the
2020 election.
From the 2020 election to the impeachments and shit like that. Man, it's like a flurry of bullshit. It's really hard to know which one is the most fucked up, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's even go over what Trump's going through as far as these, I mean, I want to call them trials, but they're not even trials. It's just a fucking sham here. Let's take the Georgia voting machines that you talked about. So that trial is going on, his election trial, and I'm going to use air quotes on that, is going on, although you know there's errors, and they just announced that there was errors. To me, that would be the end of that case of like, all right, great. If there was, and all they were asking for was a recount because there was errors in the machines themselves, great, just do it. It takes 48 hours to go back and do that. I don't really understand why. As far as the January 6th shit goes, you're seeing all the tapes come out now. That's another trial that he's facing up in Washington that's still going on, although we've seen 40 hours worth of fucking videotape where you're just like, all right, sweet, why is that still going on? All of this, all the way around, this doctor, everything else, all of this seems fake and that we're all idiots. And that's what they make you believe, that we're all a bunch of fucking morons, dude, who can't think for ourselves. And now, man, what we're telling you is true. It's got to be true, right? I feel like I'm living in the upside down world here. But this just keeps happening over and over again, and I don't know what to think of it. People ask me all the time, outside of the show, when we were in Wilmington doing that live show for Hard AF Seltzer down there at brunches, they were like, hey, dude, so Trump's going to win this next election. And I go, I thought he was going to win the last one, bro. I don't know anymore. I have no idea. Yeah,
I remember when we were doing that election show with Alex, we were getting ready to sign off for the night, and I looked over at you and I'm like, damn, he's going to win. Yeah, I was kind of surprised with all the bullshit going on.
He was up by so much.
Yeah, and then it was like, oh, we found some shit.
Well, yeah, Biden drove down, and he was like, I thought he was giving his concession speech, and I was like, cool, we can wrap the show. And then, nope, we're going to wait a few days, and, come on, man. All that other bullshit. So, yeah, I don't know. Am I shocked by any of this? No. Does it keep happening and videos keep coming out? Yes. Are they going to do anything about it? No. None of this shit seems to be happening. I mean, even back to the top of the show with Marjorie, Jimmy Kimmel's monologue, which, I was one of two people watching it, I guess, last night. It was on television in the background. I was watching local news before it, and it came on. His monologue is just super far left now, and that's kind of it. I mean, it's all politics. There's no comedy anymore. He actually brought up her book in this, and he brought up the January 6th committee, specifically regarding Marjorie, and just said, look, now we're going to have a January 6th committee about the January 6th committee, and then we're all going to pretend that January 6th didn't happen. It was like, it's not that. We're trying to find out why it happened and what the penalties are as far as if you're going to, put these people in jail and everything else, what does that do for the other people in the other insurrections? I guess nothing. And then at that point, the 300 people that were arrested that she was talking about earlier, I haven't heard a fucking word about them. Are they still in jail, or did they all get out of jail? What happened with those guys?
No, there's like Owen Schroyer still in jail. He's in prison right now.
Mm-hmm. Sure is.
Hasn't been sentenced, I don't think. Or maybe he has.
I think he did get sentenced.
Or he got like 3 months or 6 months.
Yeah,
or something.
I want to say 8, somewhere in that 7 or 8 month range. But what happened with the 300 people from the pro-Palestine insurrection that happened? What happened to them?
Oh, they've all been. Don't worry.
They're out?
They've all been prosecuted. No, dude, nobody they got arrested and released immediately.
No
course.
shit. I didn't hear anything.
Well, I'm assuming. I don't know that for a fact. But
Okay. Yeah. That's right.
that's how it tracks. I mean, people, these Antifa turds burned down cities for fucking 6 months over the summer, right, of 2020. And the vice president of the United States was bailing them out of prison. So, of course, they're not getting in trouble.
No. Nothing's going to happen with those guys. And yeah, I don't know. We keep seeing all this video evidence of everything else, and nothing's going to happen at the end of the day. I guess it's fun to know you're not crazy, like watching this shit where you're like, all right, cool, at least I'm not crazy and I can continue on my day.
I guess it does make you feel crazy, though, because people, we're just going on about our regular, ordinary business. Like, our country hasn't been completely fucked up. But, that's kind of how you got to do it these days.
Yeah.
We're not going out into the streets and fighting. That's not going to happen. You just got to wait for them to start some shit and then you beat the Christ out of them,
That's kind of what we're left with here. Next up, Israel has approved the ceasefire. You brought this up the other day, and it actually did go down. So 50 hostages have been set for release. However, Israel vows to continue the war after the truce here. Now, what I find interesting about this was actually announced by the government of Qatar. Well, why Qatar in particular? Was that where they were
Qatar's the
meeting?
cutout that we've been using to fund Hamas for the last 20 years.
You don't say. Mm-hmm. Great.
Since the late 90s.
Great.
And Israel as well. Israel sends Qatar money, then that money gets sent to Hamas as well. Well, technically to Palestine, right? But Hamas won the elections to run Palestine in 2006. And they have been off and on ever since. So that's where the money goes, directly to Hamas, which is a terrorist organization.
Awesome.
But we're giving money directly to the Taliban. So at least we're using a cutout on this one. You know what I mean?
Qatar's foreign ministry said it would announce within the next day when the clock will start to tick on the truce. Is there a fucking timer? Tell me there's a timer like the NBA, like a shot clock that's right above the border there.
This is the truth.
Yeah, but it's got seconds on it where it's like, all right, we're going to get everybody out of here. We got 4 to 5 days. And then after that, we're going to start blowing shit up again. I don't know how that works or if somebody jumps in early, what happens there. But yeah, they're going to release 50 hostages in stages for the exchange there. And what Hamas said would be 150 Palestinian prisoners released that were held by Israel. Those freed by both sides will be women and children. Well, at least they got that right, partially there. Another part of this package was humanitarian aid will be sent to Gaza, and that's going to increase. Now, the announcement comes just hours after Israel's cabinet approved the deal. It capped weeks of indirect, I love that word, Qatari-led negotiations. You don't say.
Indirect. It's like, this is how gay this is. It's like middle school, and you like the girl on the other side of the classroom. So you can't talk to her because you're a fucking coward, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to go talk to her friend, like, hey, can you tell Melissa that her fucking shoes look down? I don't know what you even say in middle school. How do you compliment a girl in middle school? I don't remember.
Pigtails is the way I went.
I think that's a little younger, bud.
No, I was in middle school, so
you maybe want to check yourself in.
No, dude, it was Courtney Crabtree. I'll give her a shout out. I don't know if she's dead or alive, but
Let's look her up.
She had
Courtney with a C.
Yeah, it was Courtney Crabtree with a C. It was. I'm dead serious.
We'll find out.
Crabtree, classic Georgia name, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, no, and not that there was some weird spelling, obviously, but yeah, she had pigtails.
It looks like Miss Crabtree.
Is she alive?
Is an interior design.
Great.
Yeah.
How does she look? We're not going to put her on screen.
I can't.
But she was hot in middle school.
I can't confirm this is. It's not a lot of pictures of her.
In Georgia?
Yeah, I don't know. Hold on, I gotta find one here that has a thing on it.
That's really fun. I haven't thought about this person in years. That's so hilarious. You're able to find people in like record time. True story. Last week in Wilmington, I mentioned somebody's daughter who worked at a tire shop. I didn't even know the fucking girl's name or anything. He found her in less than, I think, 40 seconds. Mm-hmm. I was like, what the fuck? I mean, you had pictures of her, everything. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's the location she lives in. Holy shit.
Yeah.
At a tire shop. A tire shop's daughter.
In Wilmington.
Yeah. Pretty fucking hilarious there. Next up, guys, if you're over 30, you're going to want to hear this. Every year after puberty, HGH, human growth hormone, the hormone responsible for workout recovery, performance, metabolism, and even sex drive starts to decline, sometimes by 50% by age 35. Man, I'll be hitting that in 2 years at age 33 here. Doesn't matter who you are, how hard you train, or how good you eat. It's happening to all of us. That's where BioPro Plus comes in. BioPro Plus is the first of its kind non-synthetic alternative to prescription HGH, human growth hormone treatments. All the benefits of synthetic HGH without any of the needles, side effects, or doctor's visits. Best part about BioPro Plus, works super fast and it's easy to use, 100% safe. It's been trusted by physicians since 2009. Look, guys who've used it experienced better sleep. You and I experienced better sleep on it, faster recovery for workouts and whatnot.
It is the only sleep aid. I said this the other day on the show. I'm not fucking around. It's the only sleep aid I've ever taken that both works and doesn't make me feel like shit and drowsy the next day. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the fuck. I mean, I know there's some melatonin in it. Usually melatonin makes me super drowsy and hungover feeling in the next morning. Like taking a Xanax or something, you know, that feeling where you're just like, I can't get energized again. This stuff I coast right into the day. It's fucking great.
Yeah, man. So head on over to bioproteintech.com to learn more or click the link in the audio description below and pop in that promo code Drinkin Bros for $30 off your first order. That is bioproteintech.com. Drinkin Bros for $30 off your first order. It comes in like a little vial. You just put it underneath your tongue right before you go to bed. It's nice.
It stings a little.
It stings a little, but you know it's working.
Yeah.
It ain't bullshit.
Hurts so good. Remember that song?
Come on, baby, make it hurt so good.
I bring that up because just to segue into this slot story I'm going to do, Daryl Hall has gotten a restraining order against John Oates.
Whoa!
So
I don't want to live in this world anymore.
It's like
I don't want to live in a world where Hall and Oates are fighting and not reuniting as a band.
Doesn't it feel kind of like the Brady Bunch breaking up or something?
Yeah.
Like Mike and whatever the bitch's name was. I don't remember.
Mike died of AIDS.
Yeah, but like
the father died of AIDS.
Live in the fantasy of the show is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got a fucking stash that's growing in from. It's my Hall and Oates stash, dude. God damn it, man. So it's not as thick right now.
They're in some kind of legal battle, confidential legal battle right now, so no one knows exactly what it's about. Probably over...
Sex toys?
It's probably over music rights or something, you would think.
Dildos?
Right? Dildos, maybe. The court documents are sealed, but based on court records, Mr. Hall filed an undisclosed complaint against Oates on November 16th, as well as a motion for a TRO, a temporary restraining order. The following day, the court officially issued a temporary restraining order that begins on November 30th. So he's got 8 days to get him.
Damn, dude.
Or 7, technically, because it begins on then. The Nashville Chancery Court confirmed the existence of the lawsuit, but declined to further comment. So nobody knows what the lawsuit is about, or why, or what Oates has done.
We're not saying, but you're not putting any of the blame on Hall?
Well, Hall filed a restraining order, and he got the restraining order from the judge, so he had some kind of evidence.
But sometimes people file first, where they're like, hey, dude.
Sure, yeah, but like he had some kind of evidence. To get the TRO, you have to have some evidence. Otherwise, they'll reject it. Here's why I know that. Because Nicole Arbor tried to get a restraining order against Jared and like
That's right.
Tommy and that country dude, I don't know his name, and then that bald dick from Canada.
Okay.
And the judge said, no, fuck you.
Gotcha. Look, TMZ is pointing out that Hall disparaged Oates on Bill Maher's Club Random podcast last year, saying, you think John Oates is my partner? He's my business partner. He's not my creative partner.
Oh.
Ooh. He went on to say, John and I are brothers, but we are not creative brothers. We're business partners. We made records called Hall and Oates together, but we've always been very separate. And that's a really important thing for me.
Separate but equal.
Wow, dude.
Some might say.
Fuck. Hall sounds like a dick. What did Oates do? Which one is which, by the way?
I don't know.
I like the guy with the mustache.
I don't know. I know there's a blonde and a brunette, and I don't know who's who.
God damn.
So if here's the problem. If I went to a Hall & Oates concert and a fight broke out, I wouldn't even know which side to take. I don't know the facts of the case or which dude is which.
Me neither.
Very confusing.
What I do know is I don't like it. I don't like that they're not together performing beautiful music around the world. And this whole lawsuit thing, well, I can't go for that. No, I can't go for that. No. I'm just going to let that joke hang there. I was sitting on it.
There's
ever since you said it.
There's this hippie lesbian band called Bird and the Bee.
Uh-huh.
And they did a cover of all of Hall & Oates' hits. It's pretty good.
Shit, dude. I'm looking at their hits here.
They got a bunch.
Your Kiss is on my list.
Mm-hmm. Rich Girl.
Yeah. Oh, man, he's a dick in this interview. He goes, yeah, Kiss is on my list. This is a parent of their creative separation, apparently. He goes, I did all those harmonies. That's all me. Who gives a fuck?
They wrote shitty music in the 70s and 80s. They're like, I did that. I came up with the fucking Jansport backpack, motherfucker.
Now,
like, relax, bro.
If you're getting into Creed's catalog, like, fuck off, okay? That's a real catalog full of bangers up and down the board. Speaking of which, on Ross Patterson Revolution this morning, did you know that today is the day that Creed performs at the Dallas Cowboys Thanksgiving game with the fucking flying through the air with the shit?
I didn't know that.
It's also the same day that JFK got his brains blown out.
Also the same
Allegedly.
City. Same city, too.
Yeah, well.
Oh, fuck. We didn't make that connection earlier, dude. Both in Dallas.
I did in the description, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both in Dallas. My God,
Allegedly.
man.
For legal reasons.
Sure. For JFK?
This is a wild show, man. One of the most controversial members of the U.S. government.
Yeah.
And then Israel and
Hall & Oates, bro.
Hall & Oates and a terrorist attack.
Is it weird now that we're going back through the list? I got Hall & Oates at the top of my list.
Oh, yeah. Out of these things, I don't give a fuck about Niagara Falls. Kidding me?
I care about the falls. I'm a big NF fan. I always have been. And I got pictures from me and my wife at Niagara Falls.
Did we figure out which
enjoyed
one
it.
of these guys is which?
No,
No,
I was
yeah.
too busy during RPR just replaying the Zapruder film. So.
Oh, yeah.
So
did you hear
Daryl
about
Hall
that?
is the blonde one.
Oh, he is.
And then John Oates is the vaguely ethnic mustached one.
So I'm an Oates guy then.
Yeah.
We just found out I'm an Oates guy. All right. So Hall is the one that got the restraining order, or Oates?
You know what? I don't remember now.
Yeah.
I'll have to look it
It's
back
so
up.
hard because they're intertwined. I don't know them as separate. All right.
I've got a lot of links here about Courtney
Daryl
Crabtree.
Hall did it. So, it was the fucking asshole. All right. I've always been an Oates guy. We know that, dude. Everybody in the world knows. Everybody in the office knows I've always been an Oates guy. And
We've never
Daryl
had one
Hall.
conversation about Hall & Oates.
No, we've had it ad nauseum, dude. In cars, trips, buses, planes. I'm always talking about Oates. Huge Oates guy here. So not surprising that it's dickhead Daryl Hall who did all this shit. Jealous of the perm, jealous of the mustache, always the cooler one. Nobody likes a fucking tall blonde dude. No one. There's no blonde guy ever
That's
that
not
should
true.
exist in their 50s.
That's not true. What was that?
Who?
dude? Sam, whatever the guy that was in, God, what the fuck is his name? That superhero fucking movie from
Flash?
the 80s. Flash Gordon. The Flash?
He's
or
fine,
Flash
but
Gordon?
I mean, look, this fucking guy. What a loser.
Sam Jones is his name. Yeah,
What a
he was fucking
loser.
awesome. You don't say negative shit about Sam Jones.
I'm not saying negative shit about Sam Jones, but I mean, you get to a certain age where you're just not blonde anymore. dude.
What about Bosworth?
Brian Bosworth? Not blonde anymore. Nah, it's all gone.
What about Dolph Lundgren? He's still blonde.
He's great. No, I watched.
You got to be careful. If you say his name 3 times, he'll pop up in the room.
I know, and I don't want to do that.
No, we don't. I
He
don't
could
have
still
time.
kill us.
He's got a master's degree in fucking quantum physics.
He
or
could
some
kill
shit.
both of
I
us.
No, I'll kill him easily.
No, dude,
But
Drago? You're not killing Drago.
Yeah, I could kill him easily. He's old, and he's never done anything real in his life. But smarter than me, probably. So you got to
Okay.
be careful there.
All right.
If he tricks me into some kind of contest like that,
Maybe.
I'll
Maybe.
lose.
Do you think he used his first form?
he looks like he's beefed up pretty good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what they were injected into his arms in that movie in Rocky IV, but it was probably first form.
Probably. Go to firstform.com/drinking bros today. Multivitamins, kids. I say this on the show every time. We're on YouTube today, so you can actually see it. It sits on my desk every day, and I just take a package of it. That's it. it separates all the vitamins for me. Good, boom, I'm good to go. I don't need to take anything else. Antioxidants, CoQ10s, multivitamins, fruits and veggies, probiotics, EFAs. Boom, those vitamins go in my mouth. I forget about it, and then I piss like bright yellow in like 45 minutes. It's awesome. So I know it's working and it's good. We don't have the time to do all the fancy fun things, to work out and eat fresh all the time. Not every day. You know what I'm saying? I'm eating like shit this weekend. It's Thanksgiving. Let's go. But I'm still going to put these vitamins in me, and I'm good to go. Also, they're doing a sweepstakes. They're giving away a fucking goddamn razor.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me find the thing for it here.
Man.
It is a
Beautiful
Polaris Razor Pro XP Premium off-road vehicle. It's got a fucking juiced up sound system. It's got 22s, 64-inch fucking stance. It is dope as shit. It looks like a little Jared mobile, and it's also tricked out with First Form logos and shit. All you got to do to enter the sweepstakes is purchase shit from First Form.
That's it.
Every $10 gets you one vote or whatever the fuck, one ticket. I don't know what they call it. But yeah, go to firstform.com/Drinkin Bros. That's 1stphorm.com.
Yeah.
/Drinkin Bros.
/Drinkin
And
Bros.
you have to
over
enter
there.
by 12/17, by the way. December 17th is the last day to do this.
Yes, and they've got amazing energy drinks, apparel, everything over there. Orders over $75 ship for free at firstform.com/Drinkin Bros. Next up, as Putin finally blinked, Vladimir Putin says that he's ready to end the war as fighting with Ukraine is a tragedy. Putin also blamed Ukraine's President Zelensky for the continued fighting, saying Russia has never refused peace talks. This is a wild story that just popped up today.
Well, it's not, though. We know that that's not, that he's telling the truth there because we've heard this reporting before.
We have, but did you believe it? Like,
Yeah.
All right. I didn't. I mean, look, at the end of the day here, he wants the land back. This is what you've called since day one of this war. Is the Ukraine actually going to give up that piece of land to end this fucking thing and get it over with?
Yes.
You think so?
They don't have, what option do they have? Their fucking pay pig is gone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. The United States is out of this, but not for Russia. Russia could sit there for fucking ever if they wanted to.
Yeah, but Ukraine can't take the territory back. So Ukraine's best option is to fucking get the fuck out of there.
I agree. But, Zelensky's saying otherwise, that he doesn't want to give up the land here. I've got a conspiracy theory for you. What I would do if you were Putin, and let's say you really did want to install the next president of the United States, like the Democrats claimed in 2016, you know what I would say? I would call Trump over. I'm not kidding. I would call Trump over and say, hey, let's put you, me, and Zelensky in a room, and let's make it seem like you brokered this deal for everyone, and then boom, you could receive the praise and everything else.
Here's what's really going to happen, though. Zelensky will have to capitulate. In a year or 3, he'll leave office, and then he'll be on the board of some big company, and he'll be an oligarch in that area.
Zelensky will? Yeah. I think that felt like it was always going to be the end game for him. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, he just wanted to be famous. He got it. Like, congratulations. No matter what happens in the next 10, 15 years, we will never forget him, Ukraine, this fucking story, all the shit that he's done. Like, he will go down as the hero that he always wanted to be.
I mean, I'll kind of remember him. I don't think about him.
Like, somebody else popped up Gorbachev the other day, and you were like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that fucking guy. And then he did a Pizza Hut commercial.
Yeah, it was the mark on his head, though.
Right.
I don't remember. I don't
know, but here's the thing. I don't remember any of his policies. I remember the Cold War shit, right?
Well, they mismanaged everything, right? The people
So
before
is
him,
Ukraine.
Yeltsin and
So is Ukraine.
yeah. Well, no, so it was different in Russia. They were choosing their own. The oligarchs were, but they were choosing their own leaders. In Ukraine, we were toppling their leadership and putting new people in long before any of this shit got started.
Okay.
So, but it's similar.
Yeah. So in a virtual meeting on Wednesday here, this just happened moments ago, a Russian president said military actions are always a tragedy. And of course, we should think about how to stop this tragedy. So he is alive, and at least he's saying it. And I know we had chatted about this a few months ago of like whether or not he was dead or not.
Yeah. And then he did say, by the way, Russia has never refused peace talks with Ukraine, which is correct. But that's, kind of a misnomer because peace talks mean, hey, we're about to attack you. Do you want to come negotiate and give us that land? Obviously, Ukraine's going to say no. Then you attack them. They're like, but 2 weeks into the war was when the main one happened, when the Ukrainian parliament, I don't know about Zelensky specifically, but the Ukrainian parliament was ready to settle and give up Donbass to Russia. Russia was willing to accept, and the UN and the United States got involved and told them no, for whatever reason, right? I mean, we know why. But.
Right. But look, what's your over-under then? When do you think this ends? Those winters are harsh, dude. Do you think they're going to go through a full fucking winter over there?
No.
You think it'll be quicker than
They'll
that?
lose more people to the cold on the Ukrainian side than they will to combat if they go through a fucking... Well, there won't be that much combat because it gets pretty fucked up there. Starting around late December, probably, right around Christmas. Same thing in other parts nearby there. There won't be that much fighting. So, yeah, this is... Maybe he's just teeing up the peace talks now because there's going to be some prolonged stoppage to the movement and shit.
If he calls Trump over there and they get that photo op, dude, that's it. He'll probably win it.
Well, did you hear Claire McCaskill yesterday on MSNBC? She said, she was like, these, because Trump called somebody vermin or some shit. He goes, these words, the way he talks about people, it's like Mussolini or Stalin or Hitler. But in a lot of ways, Trump's worse than them. Blah, blah, blah. Like, he worse than Hitler? Really? You stupid fucking bitch. God damn it, man.
Are you shocked? Everybody's saying you're worse than Hitler. Like, that's the go-to.
Nobody
You're worse
says,
than Hitler.
No, they say like Hitler, or this is the kind of stuff they would try to like casually associate somebody with Hitler. To say somebody is worse than Hitler or Stalin, right? Yeah. Who are responsible for like 50 fucking million people dying. Are you kidding me? God damn it, man. She should really fucking learn what a shotgun tastes like.
Well,
in her free time.
We'll see.
Just like your brain is irreparably broken. You don't belong on this planet anymore. Find a way. Nitrogen poisoning, I'm told, is super fucking comfortable. You don't really notice.
Really?
Yeah.
How long does it take?
Not long.
Okay. Worth a shot out there if you're looking for something. Next up, we talked about Rashida Tlaib with MTG earlier. New report says that a donor allegedly offered $20 million to recruit a primary challenger in the upcoming election. A Michigan businessman called Democratic Senate candidate Hill Harper, the actor, by the way, great actor. If you don't know who he is, great black actor. He's
got a goatee.
Yeah, you know who he is. To offer $20 million in campaign contributions if he agreed to drop out and instead mount a primary challenge to Rashida Tlaib, according to a source with direct knowledge of the call. The source added that Harper declined the alleged October 16th offer from the donor, Lyndon Nelson. Shit, they're even saying who it is.
Yeah.
Which would have split the campaign money between $10 million in bundled contributions directly to Harper's campaign and $10 million in independent expenditures. What does that mean?
Independent expenditures. So there's a wall that goes up between PACs and campaigns. You can give money to both. You can give an unlimited amount to the PAC, a certain smaller amount to the actual campaign, and the PAC and the campaign after the voting period starts. So like voting registration period, I think, or something. I don't remember exactly when the date is, but those two committees can't speak to one another. The campaign and the PACs can't talk.
Gotcha.
So it's just two separate entities.
Okay.
By the way, this isn't like The Rock, where people approached him about running, because The Rock, I mean, he went to Miami, right? So he went to college.
Yeah.
Kind of, right? I mean, probably not much, right?
It's actually a good university.
Yeah, okay, but he was a fucking defensive lineman.
Sure.
Right?
He was there for football.
Yes. So Hill Harper is an actor. He has a Juris Doctorate from Harvard.
Yes. Very, very smart.
Yeah.
And to my knowledge, knew him a little bit back in the day here and there. And look, he's doing this allegedly. I know we've said this in the past for the right reasons. To leave Hollywood in a fairly decent career there. I mean, he's been working for 25, 30 years, Hill Harper. To leave that to try to go back and change your community is pretty impressive. And I hope it's for the best. I don't know. The fact that he did turn down the $20 million offer, though, is pretty fucking rad, to say the least, where you're like, okay, cool. Now, he did decline to comment on the record about the story. However, he did confirm that this happened and that these terms were exactly like this story's publication has reported here in Politico. So it was real. To turn down $20 million is extremely rare in politics. You and I know some people who wouldn't have turned down that fucking money. So good for him, I guess. Next up here, it's my favorite story of the week. We saved it for last, kids. South Carolina teacher arrested. Dang it, dude. Delco, if you could bring up the picture of this beautiful lady here. This one always breaks my heart. A South Carolina private Christian school teacher and mother of two was arrested Wednesday for pressuring a teenage student into having sex and sending him naked pictures, police said. Reagan Anderson, 27, is facing 2 counts of sexual battery with a child 17 years of age. It's not a fucking child, okay? But look at this. Look at this little hottie. My God, dude. My God. This was the quarterback of the football team. Okay?
Was he?
Sure was.
Oh.
It's the quarterback of the football team. She is smoking hot. I hate to hear these
She was
stories.
sending him nudes on Snapchat, and then she fucked him at her house once, I think.
Yep.
And then in the parking lot of a fucking Wendy's or some shit.
Pizza Hut, let's go,
I
baby.
didn't even know Pizza Hut was still in business.
Nobody out
Right?
pizzas the Huts.
And to be honest, Pizza Hut's getting probably 25, 30 mil in free advertising from this.
You're getting some today. I love Pizza Hut. I just wonder if it was a dine-in location that still had a buffet.
Well, didn't they have a salad bar too?
Sure did.
He's gripping pepperonis around her.
God damn, it was in the parking lot, so he fucked her in the car,
yeah.
probably.
Well, you can see the pizza though, right?
But yeah, look, she's facing a lot of time here behind bars. He's a 17-year-old quarterback of the team.
You know what she should get is a fucking like 2-week vacation to Greece or something.
I don't understand. We've talked about this in the past on this show. Why are you reporting this, dude? This is amazing.
Well, who reported it?
Well, it got around the school, and then the mom says that, oh, God, dude. I'm going to read her statement here. This is a father of sons. If this happened to my 17-year-old son who was quarterback of the team, and he was fucking this gorgeous teacher here, I'd look the other way. I mean, I'd probably have a word with her and say, look, we should see those nudes,
Yeah.
and then you're going to have to cut this out, but I'll make an agreement with you here. I'm not going to fucking out you if you're at the school. So here's the statement from the quarterback's mother. A trusted coach, teacher, and friend that abused our trust and violated her oath as an educator. She has ruined our son's life. No, she probably made it awesome.
I mean, you know, if he never has any ambition after this because he's peaked already, I guess technically you say that. But that's the case for a lot of high school quarterbacks that didn't fuck their teachers, right? So he's going to be used car salesman. Life gets worse than that, bud.
Well, is she lobbying for a lawsuit with this shit? Obviously,
I'm sure,
that's
yeah.
what this
They're just
feels
trying to
like.
get money out of it, and then this dude will probably be dating that teacher when she gets out of jail.
I mean,
Because she's going to get like fucking 18 months maybe, tops, something like that.
It's
No.
usually 4 or 5
17?
years.
No.
I hope so.
No.
Look, I hope so. Look at how hot she is.
Yeah. She won't spend 4 or 5 years in prison.
She
No
doesn't
way.
deserve to spend 2 days in there.
Not one day.
No, not one day.
Not one day.
Not one day.
She deserves a fucking party. Tell me what kind of cake you like, and I'll make it for you. I'll put a file inside. You can fucking file your way out of that thing.
I'll bring the pizza. I know a place. It's called Pizza Hut, and I'll deliver it right to your fucking face. Now, the mom also went on to say, and this is where I really start to lose my tits here. This is where I really start to come out of my bra and tits. Is he should be 100% focused on being a fun-loving, football-playing young man.
He's 17. He should be focused on trying to fuck anything that moves, dude. What are you talking about?
But then she goes on to say, but this predator robbed him of that ability. No young quarterback or athletes is safe in our community if this woman is free. I like how she went out of her way to say no young quarterback because obviously that's the position he plays. And then she goes, or anybody else, like, you know, the rest of you fucked up punters and
poor
kickers
people,
and placeholders and fat defensive linemen. Like, God,
Did they show the mom?
I haven't seen the mom. I haven't seen the mom.
That's what I want to see.
She's not in there. All we need to see is this mugshot. We're good on that.
Well, there's other pictures of this woman. That
There
are better
is.
than her
They're
mugshot.
better. But look, if you're looking that hot in a mugshot, this is a production thing. You're fucking whitewashed back there.
Whitewash,
with that
the
gray.
lighting's bad. Yeah.
All of it's terrible, and she still looks that great. Imagine in real life. Good for her.
Yeah, I mean, you can. I guess I've had debates with people about this stuff when the boy's like 14 or 15 or something like that. I still don't think it's that big a deal, to be honest, for a man. I just don't. But 17, what the fuck? You can sign up for the Army at 17.
I know.
You can go to basic training. You can't deploy until you're 18, but you can join the Army at 17.
And there's a shit ton of states where 17 is the consenting age.
Yeah, what state is this?
South Carolina, I believe.
South Carolina's 16, brother.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's that might not. It may be a crime because she's his teacher, but it's not like statutory rape.
South Carolina.
Yeah, it's 16 in South Carolina, brother.
Find out. But anyways, so here's how this got popped. There was rumors going around about the inappropriate relationship regarding a staff member and an upper school student, and the administration immediately contacted law enforcement. Man, if my mom sat me down and said, hey, I'm going to report this, and we're going to send this fucking lady to jail, I'd be like, no, we're not doing any of that. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to be normal. Because now everybody at school is probably like, yo, dude, you've got fucking Mrs. Tawny fired or whatever her name is, you know? Why?
Yeah.
Why'd you get the hot teacher
Yeah, I
fired
was gonna
before
try
we
to
could
bang
all
her,
have
yeah.
sex with her? It's crazy to me.
Yeah, so let's see. Pressuring teenage naked. I'm trying to find. So she's facing 2 counts of sexual battery with a child. That's not a crime in South Carolina. 17.
They might have raised it, dude. I don't know.
No, it's not. It's still 16. I just looked it up on their website.
Okay.
On their criminal website.
So the judge said Anderson,
maybe the dude, maybe the 17-year-old is telling his mom, like, yeah, she forced herself on me. Like, okay, dude, is that because your dick's got to get hard?
Yeah.
No woman can rape me. I can stay soft.
Yep.
As long as I feel like it.
Yep.
That's not a thing.
I know.
It's just not a thing.
I know. I agree.
So for you women out there that get offended if a dude is able to resist you, like it's fun. It's not that hard.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
It's not going in.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like,
Can't fold it up.
Not coming in 12 seconds is a problem sometimes, right? If you get too excited, but you can't make me hard if I don't get hard. It's not a thing. Maybe she spiked his Pepsi. Pizza Hut uses Pepsi products, right?
Sure do.
She put a little, yeah.
A little.
This is none of this case makes sense.
No, she should have came to my house at 17. So the judge has set the bond at $2,500. Awesome. All right, she can pay that, and ordered her to wear a GPS monitor. Now, here's
the judge just
problem.
wants to know where she is,
I know,
so he can fucking get in there.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
He's like, wear this just so I can make sure you're not doing this again to anybody else but me. The problem I only have with this is she does have 2 young kids and is married right now.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, so I mean that's going to suck for the husband, obviously.
Well, I mean, we don't know
and
for
the
sure
kids.
that he's not a cuck, though, right?
Or that he was like, hey, dude, I'm into this, and I'll beat off to it on the side. But her bio does state that she's currently a stay-at-home mom because she's not teaching anymore. And she's looking for some home opportunities to help support my family and I, and that's what her biography states. So home opportunities means
A tutor for my kids.
or OnlyFans.
I don't have kids. Can you come tutor my dogs in physics?
Man, those
This is
stay-at-home
stupid.
opportunities, bro.
Stop. This is the same thing as drug addiction. It's the same as people who are assholes at parties. It's all the same. Stop fucking up everybody's good time because you can't behave yourself and keep your fucking mouth shut. You know how many dudes she would have ran through over the years until her like probably mid-40s?
I know.
Until she got tired of it. How many high school quarterbacks? You guys could have won a state championship.
Yeah.
You
Amazing.
little fucking gaylord. God
Amazing.
damn it.
Now's the point in the show we get to the Drinkin' Bro of the week. This was submitted here. It's not even a submission, actually. It's just an honest thing that somebody did, and it was rad. Business Party Podcast on Instagram said, hey, drinking the new Hard AF seltzers here. Got them shipped through the mail. Yes, we do ship online at hardafseltzer.com. Says, my favorite is the pina colada. Thank you. Says, the shipping company accidentally sent me an extra case. I was not double charged. However, I'm worried that you guys lost out on some money. Just wanted to be honest and tell you. And look, cheers. That's amazing. Business Party Podcast. We greatly appreciate it. However,
we don't care about $20.
keep the extra
dude.
case, dude. Merry
Fuck
Christmas.
you. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. Happy Thanksgiving.
I almost-
Party. We appreciate the.
I almost told Danny to send him another one. Like, how dare you?
How dare we'll send you one more
Yeah,
for free.
you piece of shit. We should show up to his house. I can get his
Exactly.
address off the fucking internet.
Why not?
If he bought one, let me find it right quick. We'll show up at his house and beat his ass.
And then just give him
we'll,
free seltzer.
We'll get fucked up with him too, yeah.
For sure.
But we got to fight him first.
For sure.
Obviously.
Thanks for tuning in, kids. This is an extra special fake news today with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Shout out for her even coming on the goddamn program. That was a shocker. To be honest with you, fun show. If you're at home, rate the show a 5-star on iTunes and leave a quick review. Also, head on over to Spotify. It's just a 5-star and you can walk away. For D'Anthony Holloway, I'm Ross Patterson. This is the Drinkin' Bros Fake News. Happy Thanksgiving.